Subscribe for more. Executive Order declaring a national energy emergency, January 20th, 2025. This executive order declares a national emergency due to insufficient U.S. energy production and infrastructure, citing threats to national security, economic stability, and technological progress. It expands domestic energy production, accelerates permitting for energy projects, removes regulatory barriers, and strengthens U.S. energy independence. The order also mobilizes federal agencies to prioritize energy infrastructure development and mitigate foreign reliance. Key sections and summary. Section 1. Purpose. The U.S. energy sector is inadequate to meet national needs due to previous administration policies. High energy prices hurt Americans, particularly low and fixed-income households. Foreign adversaries weaponize U.S. energy dependence, threatening national security and economic stability. Energy security is critical for defense, manufacturing, transportation, and agriculture. The Northeast and West Coast are most affected by energy shortages, leading to economic and defense vulnerabilities. A national emergency is declared to expand U.S. energy infrastructure and production. Section 2. Emergency approvals. Federal agencies must use emergency authorities to expand energy identification, leasing, production, transportation, refining, and generation. Agencies may recommend the use of eminent domain and the Defense Production Act to expedite energy projects. EPA must issue emergency waivers to allow year-round E15 gasoline sales to address fuel shortages. Section 3. Expedited energy infrastructure development. Federal agencies must fast-track energy infrastructure projects. Priority regions for energy expansion: West Coast, Northeast, and Alaska, due to critical vulnerabilities. Agencies must submit reports on progress and challenges in infrastructure expansion. Section 4. Emergency permitting under the Clean Water Act, CWA. Army Corps of Engineers must expedite permits for energy projects under Clean Water Act, CWA, Rivers and Harbors Act, Marine Protection, Research, and Sanctuaries Act. Agencies must use emergency provisions to accelerate energy approvals. Status reports required every 30 days for the duration of the emergency. Section 5. Endangered Species Act ESA Emergency Review. Agencies must use emergency ESA provisions to approve energy projects. Agencies must report ESA-related energy project delays and solutions. The Fish and Wildlife Service and National Marine Fisheries Service must assist agencies in ESA emergency consultations. Section 6. Endangered Species Act Committee Review. The ESA Committee, God Squad, must meet quarterly to review exemption requests for energy projects, identify ESA-related obstacles to energy infrastructure, expedited review of exemption applications within 140 days for energy projects. Section 7. Military Energy Security Assessment. The Department of Defense, DoD, must assess vulnerabilities in energy infrastructure affecting military readiness. Focus on energy supply risks in the Northeast and West Coast. Inadequate refining and transportation infrastructure. Recommendations must be submitted within 60 days for presidential review. Military construction authorities activated under the National Emergencies Act for energy infrastructure projects. Section 8. Key definitions. Energy resources include oil, natural gas, uranium, coal, biofuels, hydropower, and critical minerals. Energy supply encompasses production, transportation, refining, and generation. Refining includes oil refining, fuel production, and mineral processing. Generation includes electricity production and transmission. Section 9. General provisions. Does not override existing laws, but must be implemented within funding constraints. No legal rights are created for individuals to challenge the government under this order. Summary and implications. Key actions taken: National Emergency Declaration on Energy Security. expands energy production and infrastructure using emergency powers, removes federal barriers to energy projects, accelerated energy permitting and infrastructure expansion, fast-tracks oil, gas, nuclear, and critical mineral development, prioritizes energy expansion in vulnerable regions, Northeast, West Coast, and Alaska. Use of emergency powers to override regulations. Agencies must approve energy projects despite environmental concerns. Army Corps of Engineers to expedite Clean Water Act permits. Fish and Wildlife Service to limit ESA-related energy restrictions. Military involvement in energy security. Defense Department must assess energy vulnerabilities affecting military operations. Activates military construction powers for energy infrastructure. Reshaping domestic and international energy markets. Boosts domestic refining and fuel production. Encourages U.S. energy exports to allies. Implications: major expansion of U.S. energy production. New drilling, mining, refining, and nuclear energy projects fast-tracked. Federal agencies instructed to remove regulatory barriers. Environmental and legal challenges expected. Environmental groups likely to challenge ESA and CWA waivers. States with strict climate policies, e.g., California, New York, may resist federal overrides. Increased energy independence and military readiness. Reduces reliance on foreign energy imports. Strengthens military fuel and electricity supply chains. Shift in federal energy policy. Prioritizes economic and national security concerns over environmental policies. Reverses previous administration's climate and energy restrictions. Conclusion: this executive order declares a national emergency on U.S. energy security, enabling expanded domestic energy production, expedited permits, and the use of emergency powers to override environmental regulations. It prioritizes energy independence, military readiness, and economic stability, while minimizing regulatory and environmental barriers. The policy shift is likely to face legal and political challenges, but represents a significant acceleration of U.S. energy development. Subscribe for more!